yeah, you in the mood? It's Saturday, things are good, it's a little chilly. We might get snow at the Hollywood sign, so they say. But that is not stopping us from talking about all things home and garden. Cindy Dole here, Home Wizards. Good to have you on board. And by the way, if you're hearing things and you want to hear it again, all you do is go back to the website. It's very handy-dandy. CindyDole.com. Just go there to the on-air section and poof, there it is, and you can hear it again. And the only rule is that I'd like you to email me and tell me other things you'd like to hear about. So pretty easy, right? So now, whether you're a gardener or you want to be a gardener, there's always that to-do list. At least there is for me. You know, you have a vision, you have a dream, you have all these ideas and things you need to get and wishes, but, you know, you aren't really sure where to begin maybe or what your priorities are or how just to get it all started and have it come together. Well, everything always starts with a plan, right? And a dream. And it's great to have a notebook. That's just something that I always have for all things for the home. I have one of these 3-ring binders. And if you don't, I highly recommend you do. And you get these sheet protectors from your favorite office supply store. And then you just, you know, rip and read some of these different magazine articles and make lists and things that you collect. And then over time, you know what your dreams are for the inside, for the outside. But sometimes you need a little bit more than that. And joining me is an avid gardener who saw a need to help us in our garden with a website that she calls plantjotter.com. So welcoming in Barb Hegman. Thanks for being here, Barb.
Hi, Cindy.
Hi.
Thanks for having me.
Love your website. Tell me how you came up with this idea.
Well, let's see. I have been gardening, dabbling in gardening, and then getting pretty serious about it for about 25 years. And quite simply, every spring when I woke up and it was time to get out in the garden, I couldn't always remember what I planted where or what were the ideas I wanted to try, or so I just wanted a application that would help me keep track of things.
Mm-hmm. And it really is. It's a way to kind of have your own little diary. It's a gardening diary. Yeah.
Exactly. I was keeping notes and then photos and plant tags and, you know, plastic containers. And with the current technology available today, I just thought, you know, gosh, why can't there be a site that is your personal site where you can have organized and integrated records? So as you'll see on the website, you can keep, you don't have to do everything. You know, some sections are just plenty for people, but you can keep journal entries. You can create a task calendar to tell you what to do when. I have some suggestions out there, basic suggestions if people need reminders. You can keep a plant list and then personal notes on plants, how they're performing, or when you need to divide them, or if you had to address any disease or insect issues. So it really is a great spot, I think, just to your personal resource for information. Mm-hmm. But it's also, outside of the practical application, it's also just pretty fun to just go back and laugh at yourself a little bit.
Oh, really?
On, kind of how you progressed over the years. And
well, that's great. I think that builds confidence, too, because so many of us, whether you're a beginner gardener or, an advanced garden master, I think that we all kill a plant or two, and maybe we have doubts, and we want to be successful. And so I think that the more that you can do to keep track of how to do it and when to do it, you're going to increase the odds, And
right.
So, for instance, with this weather that we're having, it's kind of going to be cold tonight, and we're a bit of a cold snap. So if we had this going, we could already tell ourselves, okay, note to self, this is what you should be doing to your plants under these conditions, right?
Exactly.
And you have a lot of plants in your database, too, which I love, because before you go and shop for plants, it's always a good idea to not only dream about it, but to do some good research on what's going to work where. And so tell me about this database of these 2,800 plants that you've got.
Yeah. Well, the database is a work in process. Its primary purpose right now is to help you very easily create your own personal plant list. Mm-hmm. But it also has some basic criteria, the right sun, the soil type, when your plant blooms, that type of thing. So you can get some basic plant attribute information. We're also building care sheets. So when you have your plant list, out there as we continue to build the site. You'll be able to click on a tab, and there'll also be more detailed care information that will tell you or guide you on what to do when. So in spring, summer, fall, and winter. So the site's really a work in process. It's we're really excited about continuing to build it out, and the database will keep growing as well.
Mm-hmm. And do you have it all set to zones, in terms of where the plants work, depending on where we live, and not only what part of the country you live in, but what part of Southern California you live in?
Right. Well, the plant list, it does indicate what zone the plant it grows well in. So while I'm in Southern California right now, I'm actually from the Midwest. And so we're working on building more calendar, task information and plants that are going to grow really well in Southern California. So there's a lot of plants out there, but as you know, the plant world is huge. So we're continuing to add to the database.
Great. Well, then how did you get started to be such a good gardener or an avid, enthusiastic gardener? What got you going?
Well, my mother gardened, and I, in my prior career life, it was gardening was really a respite for me after a long work week in the corporate world, and I've just always gotten a lot of pleasure out of it. It's a fun to learn about plants, and it's an artistic outlet, and not to mention the practicalities of growing your own food, and so it's just a wonderful hobby, and I've basically just have, done it all my life.
Fun. Well, the website again is called plantjotter.com, and we can get on there and get all kinds of tidbits and start dreaming the dream and building it, right?
That's right.
All right. Well, thanks for sharing it with us, Barb. And I'm going to check it out. I think it looks like a lot of fun. Much success to you and your website, plantjotter.com. Right. Well, this has been a lot of fun. I thank you guys for listening to the show. And coming up next Saturday, the fun continues. It always does. We're going to talk about if you're planning a party at your house, and who isn't for spring, right? This guy is so cool. He's a great designer and all-around creative, fun, just human being. His name is Jonathan Fong, and you probably have seen him on TV, and he has some great books out. But he's all about creating table designs and a theme for your party and your celebration, whether you want to have a Mission Impossible party or you want to have a garden party or whatever it is, how to be really creative using things that are already existing in your yard and inside your house and making it just look spectacular. He did something on his Facebook page on how to make fortune cookies and have like this kind of an Asian themed party using, well, I'm not going to give it all away, but it was kind of a rubbery device, and he folded it up and it looked like a fortune cookie. And so we're going to get all kinds of great creative ideas. And of course, we'll talk about some more fun in the garden and get you started for your spring plantings. Okay. Now, just before we go, I just had to share something fun. Speaking of gardens, this past week I've been traveling around, and I got to go to North Carolina, learning about garden care and treatment and what's new in terms of tackling pests and weeds and as it relates to edible gardens. And so we'll be sharing some of that in the weeks to come. But something really fun that we did, and I'm going to put it up on my Facebook page in terms of team building, the night out, and we could all do this in our homes. We went to this catering company that holds cooking classes, and they'll have gatherings for corporate get-togethers. And what they did was they said, well, guess what? You guys are going to cook your own dinner. And so we broke into all these different teams, and we had guidance from the chef experts. So it was kind of like our own taste of being on one of these chef reality shows. And mine was making the salad. Woohoo! Not very complicated, but it was a lot of fun. And I think it's something we could all do in our own homes and have people over, and why not divide people into different stations and take charge of the salad and the main course and so forth. So something to think about, and we'll talk about it and see the pictures on Facebook. Have a great weekend. Stay warm. We'll see you next Saturday, and until next time, remember this: the key is under the mat. Bye-bye.
I'd say that was a pretty successful broadcast.